Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in another international break. There has been a 2-week international break every single month of the season so far. So that means literally half the season has been international breaks, and I, for one, do not like them. So, since there's not too much to talk about Barcelona, especially considering they lost the last game, we're gonna go ahead today and do a Barca tier list. My second video being a Barca tier list. We're gonna rank today legendary slash notable Barca players, and we have a couple of categories here. GOAT, which is going to be for one player only. It's already known who that player is going to be. Elite, unreal, decent, underwhelming, and then there's players here that are pre World War II, so it's haven't watched them enough, or I just don't know who they are. Maybe I know who they are name wise, but I haven't linked their name to their face yet. But let's go ahead with it. This is gonna be based on what's it called? Performance, what they did on the pitch. Because you could put Cruyff in goal if you consider what he did off the pitch for Barcelona. This is about on the pitch. So we're gonna go down the list over here chronologically, whatever it's showing here. We'll just go in order. So Busquets. Busquets obviously is the greatest defensive midfielder in football history, and for that reason he goes into elite. I'm not gonna rank them necessarily in order in each category, but I'll just put them where they belong. So Busquets is an elite, the greatest DM in football history. So by extension, the greatest DM in Barca's history. Absolute metronome in midfield. He changed the way that position is played. Rodri now has taken the mantle. Obviously, Busquets can't be matched. Elite for him. We move on to Cruyff. Cruyff, of course, as a player, I obviously didn't watch him, but I've watched enough clips to know that he was a very, very good player. Obviously, he's considered one of the GOATs. As a player, he was very good for Barcelona, but he wasn't insane. He peaked at Ajax, and even for the Netherlands, he peaked. I would put him in unreal as a player. He didn't do anything crazy. Like, for example, Busquets held his position for 10 years, 15 years at Barcelona. Cruyff was at Barca for 4 or 5 years. I think it was maybe even three, and he did very well. Dani Alves. Dani Alves, elite. He was Barca's right back for 7, 8 years, and he solidified himself as a top two, top three, maybe even top one if you want to consider him in that regard. Right backs ever. Cafu is up there with him. Lam is up there with him. Carlos Alberto. There's a bunch of players there. He is definitely top two or top three for me. Elite. De Jong. Absolutely underwhelming. He's been signed for 90 million, and his performances, he's literally in the peak of his career now. His performances have gradually became worse. He came to Barcelona, he started off very well, and since then he became worse and worse and worse. It's very slowly, but it's been happening. And I think for the price tag, I think for what people were expecting from him, especially that season at Ajax, he was expected to go to Barcelona and become a staple in the midfield for Barca for the next 10, 15 years. It really hasn't happened. He does play, but he's not crazy as a player. He's not like he performs poorly, he's slow. He's very mistake prone. So it's whatever for De Jong, underwhelming. Deco. Deco now. He was very good for Barcelona. Um he didn't I'm not sure how long he played at Barcelona, but he wasn't unbelievable. I would, however, put him in unreal because he did win a Champions League with the club, and he was a starting midfielder there. He actually helped run that midfield because Xavi that season for the Champions League had an ACL injury, so it was important for him. Uh, unreal for Deco. We're gonna speed it up here because there's a lot of players left here. Yeah, Torre, uh, elite, two Champions League ones, two goals in the two finals scored, and I think it was 2 goals in 2 finals for Eto. Very good player, very good striker, explosive, lethal, clinical. Was Barca striker for 5 or 6 years. Very good player, elite. Guardiola, elite as well. He was the Javi or the Busquets of that 1990 squad where they had Stoichkov, Romario. He was the captain of that team. Very good midfielder for Barcelona. He was the prequel to what happened when he became a manager. So elite. Thierry Henry for Barcelona, unreal. Didn't stay at the club long enough to warrant elite, but when he did play, he was very good. He stayed there from 2007 to 2010. That's 3 years, and performed well in the Champions League. Performed well in the league, especially had some good performances against Real Madrid. So Henry is unreal. Joan Gamper, the first ever human to exist on the planet. He's the first human born on Earth. He founded the club, and we can give him sympathy points for founding the club. He's a founder of Barcelona. As a player, though, literally have not watched him. I'm not gonna give him sympathy points for finding the club and putting him in elite or goat. And as a player, I don't know if he was good or not. Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, I would put into. It could either be unreal or elite, and I'll tell you why. Because his defensive form started regressing a bit as his years in Barcelona started, uh, building up, and he became a bit of a liability in defense in the big games. The Liverpool, the Roma games are some of the proofs to that. But I would still put him in elite, considering Barca haven't had too many crazy left backs in their history. Van Bronckhorst was good, Abidal was good, but Jordi Alba was one of them that he was a staple of the left back for a very long time. He was there for 10 years, and you have to put him in elite for that. He performed very well. Maybe he was poor defensively sometimes, but attacking wise, he was absolutely unbelievable. His connection with Messi, he has to be there. Clivert. Now, for me, Clivert, I could have put him into didn't watch him enough, but I still know that he did play pretty well for Barcelona. He wasn't there for a very long time. He was there for like 2 or 3 seasons. He did play decently, but I think his lack of presence at Barcelona puts him in at decent. I'm gonna do some quick research real quick. Let's actually look at a very known website here. I can't type. Transfer marked. Let's look at Clivert's Barcelona history. Clivert transfer market. Let's look at some generic stats here. He played for Barcelona for 1 year. Was it really 1 year? Wait, he joined Barcelona. Oh no, he did play at Barcelona for a while. I didn't know he was there for that long. Let's see, La Liga. Yeah, so he qualifies as the unreal. He scored a decent amount of goals in the games that he played, decent amount of assists. Yeah, he goes in unreal for sure. Uh, he definitely goes in unreal. So that was poor for me. Whoever this guy is now, I probably know him name wise. I didn't. I don't know who he is though with the face. Ronald Koeman, elite, absolutely unreal for Barcelona. Won them a Champions League, their first ever Champions League, 1992 versus Sampdoria. That free kick was unreal. Very strong center back for Barcelona. He had to go in elite considering his, even though if he wasn't there for 10, 15 years like other legends were, his impact when he was there, undeniable. Kubala, I heard that he was like a unbelievable player for Barcelona. I didn't watch him. I'm sure that he belongs in elite. I just have no idea. Michael Laudrup, I mean, another one of those players I didn't watch. He's from the same era as Guardiola's stint, but I just did not watch Michael Laudrup's highlights. I didn't watch his impact or study his impact at Barcelona. So for that reason, I know people highly regard him. He was a very good playmaker, but for that reason, haven't watched him enough. Lewandowski now, a more recent player. Obviously, he still plays at the club. Is definitely between elite or unreal, and I'd put him in unreal considering his poor form last season. So he's had 2 seasons now where in 2022, 2023, he was unbelievable. He won Barca the league with the amount of goals he scored. And this season he's unbelievable, but the poorness of last season puts him in unreal. I think if Barca win a lot this season and he does well next season, considering he's probably going to extend his contract, then he starts moving in towards elite. But for now, unreal. Gary Lineker, one of those players I didn't really watch for Barcelona. He played in the 80s, 90s. Didn't really watch him, so I'm sure he was a great striker. Of course, he's a legend of the sport as a whole of England, but didn't really watch him. Maradona, he had like 2 or 3 years at Barcelona, and Of course, Maradona's Maradona. He was an anomaly of the sport. He was Messi before Messi. So even if he didn't do too much in terms of output, he was still unbelievable on the pitch, unbelievable goal scoring wise. So Maradona goes into unreal for Barcelona considering he wasn't there for that long. Messi, GOAT, self-explanatory, literally the GOAT of the sport, so by extension the GOAT of Barcelona. Uh is this Johan Nieskens? Yeah, Johan Nieskens. Same era as Cruyff. Didn't really watch him. I didn't really watch highlights of him. I've watched highlights of Cruyff. I've watched some matches of Cruyff. Not really Nieskens. Or I've probably watched games of Nieskens, but I was paying attention to Cruyff and not Nieskens, so haven't watched him enough. Neymar, elite. I don't want to hear he's not a legend of Barcelona. Maybe in terms of the way he left, the way he's treated Barcelona, I guess he's a legend of the club. He was here for 5 years. He won a Champions League. He was an integral part of the greatest attacking trio in football history, or if not, then top two, top three greatest trios in history. And he has to be elite for that. Absolute demon footballer. PK, elite as well. Greatest center back in the history of Barcelona. Very underrated when compared to players like Ramos. Elite defender, elite ball playing defender. He has to be up there. Uh, Puyol, same top two center back for Barcelona history. Maybe top three considering Ronald Koeman. Definitely elite. Marquez, same for him. Won a Champions League with Barcelona. Won two Champions League with Barcelona. Uh, huge center back for them. He's there for 4 or 5, 6 years at Barcelona, and he had a wonderful impact. Very good center back considering he wasn't from La Masia. Riquelme, um, Riquelme decent. Riquelme decent because he wasn't there for a while. When he was at Barcelona, he had a very big issues with Louis van Gaal, the manager, and that's why Messi did that celebration that he's doing in this picture against Netherlands in the World Cup. As a player, Riquelme was very underrated. He was an unbelievable playmaker. He's underrated when compared to other midfielders historically, like Zidane. He's very underrated, Riquelme. But exactly what he did at Barcelona, it's not crazy. Rivaldo. My only question with Rivaldo is how long did he stay at Barcelona? Because if it's more than 3 or 4 years, then he definitely belongs in elite. And he stayed at Barcelona for damn. He played till 2015. What? No way. He played for 25 years. That's actually kind of crazy to me. He retired late. He played at Barcelona for 5 years until 2002, and yeah, he was elite. He was unbelievable. He was Neymar before Neymar. Well, before he was Ronaldinho before Ronaldinho, to be honest. He uh he scored a crazy goal for Barcelona. He was an imperative attacking midfielder. He could play left wing as well. He was very good. I think he peaked at Barcelona, and considering his legendary status, considering he peaked at Barcelona, has to be elite. Romario, the same. Absolute unreal goal scorer. Literally so many goals scored. He was elite. Uh he's very underrated when compared to other strikers considering he didn't play in the 21st century, but elite footballer. Ronaldinho elite. Everybody knows what he did at Barcelona. Literally 5 years of just straight entertainment on top of output, on top of a Champions League one. He was very good. He was a main man of a team who was kind of going through a difficult period, and he helped them to the first Champions League in a while. He helped them get back into competing in La Liga. So elite for him. Ronaldo Nazario, unfortunately, very unfortunately, he did not spend enough time at Barcelona. He was unreal that season or two that he did play there. Unreal that season or two that he played there. Literally, you could say he peaked there. But yeah, unreal. Super unfortunate how he didn't spend enough time there. Uh, so let's continue here. I don't know who this is. I know I've seen his face before. Name wise, I don't know who it is. I probably heard of him. I just don't know who it is. Same with him. Not sure. Stoichkov, imperative of that 1990s team with Pep Guardiola, the main attacker, very good, a very good link up with Romario, elite, very good player, literally unbelievable attacker, strong player. Elite Suarez, greatest striker of the 21st century after R9. He's the second greatest striker for me in history of the sport. The way he has been able to combine the link up play with the good dribbling ability when he was younger and his clinical finishing and his movement. Unbelievable striker. And he competed with Messi, Ronaldo, won 2 Golden Boots in their era. Obviously elite. Luis Suarez won a Ballon d'Or. Well, two Luis Suarez, another one here. Won a Ballon d'Or for Barcelona. He played in the 50s and 60s, so I didn't really watch him. Obviously, he goes into that category. Ter Stegen, underwhelming. Very, very poor in the big games. He has costed Barcelona a lot, and he performed pretty well in the 2015, 2016 years. After that, he started declining. He's had some decent spells of performances in the league every now and again. He had it in 2022, 2023, 2017. He had decent spells. 2019, he had decent spells, but overall, very underwhelming. And considering he's been Barcelona's goalkeeper for a very long time, it has to be underwhelming. On the other hand, though, Deco, not Deco, Victor Valdez, elite. Barcelona's main keeper for 3 Champions League wins, and he saved them. He wasn't the level. He was also very mistake prone, but he wasn't the level of mistake prone that Ter Stegen is. He didn't throw games. He was actually very good in the big games, Valdez, and for that reason, he was an imperative part of Barca's Champions Leagues. Elite. Xavi, elite. Top 2 greatest midfielders in history. Unbelievable midfielder, orchestrator, creator, uh, everything. You name it, elite midfielder. Yaya Toure, unreal. Spent a good amount of time at Barcelona. Very versatile. Played at center back, played at CDM, played at CM. Very good player for Barcelona. I think it was one Champions League with them. And unfortunately, him as well, he didn't spend enough time at the club. He was very good though. Unreal for Yaya Toure. This guy I've seen before, I just don't know his name. Who are you? Zubizarreta, I'm going to assume this is. He was actually, I'm pretty sure, top 2 goalkeepers in Barca's history. Unfortunately, I didn't watch him enough. He was in that Pep Guardiola team. I didn't watch him enough, but I'm certain people consider him as maybe probably the GOAT goalkeeper at Barcelona. I just can't give an opinion on that. Iniesta, same category as Xavi, top 2 midfielder of all time. Absolutely unbelievable orchestrator, playmaker, genius of the sport. Literally unbelievable. Then we move on to David Villa. He was at Barcelona for 2 or 3 seasons, and for that reason, I'll put him in unreal. Unreal because he spent a very short amount of time there, but when he did play, he was imperative in the 2011 UCL, imperative in the 2011 league. Very good versus Madrid. He performed on numerous occasions, but he doesn't have that elite status considering the legends up top there have 5 years under the belt at the club. So yeah, Pedro. This is very difficult because he has to be an elite. He has to be an elite. He was too good for Barcelona to not put him in elite. He was there at the club from the academy up until 2015, and he scored in almost every big game for Barcelona. Always performed versus Madrid. Huge link up play with Messi up top. He allowed Messi, him being able to hold that right wing position, allowed Messi to play false nine, and he has to be an elite for that. He is very good, and he's very underrated. Abidal. Now, I'm not sure. I know he was very good. I just forgot how many years he spent at Barcelona. If it was upwards of 4 or 5, he could definitely be an elite. I just forgot what the count was. He went from Barcelona from 07, 08 to 2013. So that's 6 years. He can go in elite. Very good left back for Barcelona. He was the player that Barca needed because Barca's always had trouble with left backs for some reason. They never had like an absolutely dominant left back. He was one of them players before Jordi Alba rejoined. He had a very big issues, uh, with the cancer that he had, but he was always a great server for the club. He won 2 Champions Leagues with the team, and he was a great player. So elite, but I would put him very low elite up until unreal. I think he peaked a very short peak for Barcelona. Rakitic, unreal. Uh, he doesn't go in elite because his decline at Barcelona was very, very large. He performed very well from 2014 up until 2017, and then after that, he lost his pace. He lost his sharpness. He became lethargic. He was a liability for Barcelona in big, high intensity games and field. His poor performance there was a big factor of that loss. Unreal for Rakitic, but When he did play well, he was very good. Luis Figo, we're not gonna consider the Madrid transfer. Uh, Listen, Figo's a legend of the game. He was one of the greatest right wingers of his time. He was a very good footballer. At Barcelona, once again, I need to check how many years he spent. I remember watching clips of him. He was a very good player when he did play at Barcelona. I just need to know how many years he played there. He played for Barcelona for, damn, that was 5 years he played for. So yeah, he played 5 years at Barca, 5 years at Madrid, 10 years in La Liga at the two rivals. Um, I'd put him in unreal. He didn't really win a Champions League for the Barcelona, and he of course he performed well, but it was just like a weird period for him. I think once Barca got Ronaldinho, then it started picking up. So I think he has to be an unreal. Mascherano, elite player. He was very good. He was a perfect complement to Piqué and Puyol when he was playing. He could drive the ball up. He could operate as a literal inverted CDM where he would play a bit deeper. He could play as a sweeper. He could play as a DM. He could go up from CB to a deep line playmaker. He had the ability to do that. He was a very good tackler, warrior. So elite for Mascherano won a Champions League. Well, won two Champions Leagues with Barcelona. Frank de Boer, I didn't watch enough. Unfortunately, I didn't watch him enough. So I'm sure he was a great player. I just didn't watch him enough. Luis Enrique, elite legend of the club. He was a very good midfielder in that Pep Guardiola era. He was part of that team for a very long time. Great serving midfielder. Wore his heart on his sleeve for the team, and elite player. This I can't tell who that is. I'm sure I've heard of him, but I just don't know who that is. Uh, Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Unreal. He was at Barcelona he was left back for Barcelona in the 2006 Champions League win. He very good left back. He wasn't at the club for too long. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check that because I've been wrong on that specific factor numerous times in this video. Does he oh, I didn't put the N. Giovanni van Bronckhorst. He's actually a pretty decent manager now. He was at Barcelona for 3 years, so it wasn't like too long. But when he did play, he was a very good player. Unreal for him. Then we have here two players who I don't know who they are. Yeah. So this is a tier list. Let me know what you guys think. It's a bit of a longer video. I've spent a lot of time explaining and researching. Some of the players here are, I'm sure it's a very interchangeable list. Some of the players can be an elite. Some of the elite players can be an unreal, but this is what I think. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be reading the comments if there is any. And I will see you guys in the next video.